Part 1. Birth of a Prince. On June 21, 1982, history paused for a moment. In the maternity wing of St. Mary's Hospital in London, a child was born who carried centuries of expectation on his tiny shoulders. His name, William Arthur Philip Louis. As the first son of Prince Charles and Diana, Princess of Wales, William was second in line to the throne. From the moment his birth was announced, the world knew his future. Newspapers splashed his picture across their front pages. Crowds cheered outside Buckingham Palace. The cameras of the world had their newest subject, a boy who, one day, would be king. But to his mother, Diana, William was not a symbol of monarchy. He was her son, her wills, and she was determined that his life, though lived in palaces, would be filled with the simple joys of childhood. "My earliest memories are not of crowns or ceremonies," William would later recall. "They are of my mother's laughter, of holding Harry's hand, of running through gardens without a care." This was the beginning of a life that would be shaped by two forces, tradition and humanity. Part 2. Childhood in the Spotlight. William's early years were spent between the elegance of Kensington Palace and the warmth of his mother's love. Diana insisted that her sons experience the world beyond royal walls. She took them to theme parks, to fast food restaurants, and even to shelters for the homeless. She wanted William and Harry to understand that royalty did not mean distance. It meant service. At school, William began to show a mixture of charm and seriousness. At Wetherby, Ludgrove, and later Eton College, he was known not only as a prince, but as a student who excelled in geography and sports. His friends called him simply Wills. But even in these years, William learned that his life was never fully his own. The media followed every milestone, every smile, every stumble. Childhood was a balancing act between private play and public display. Part 3. A Life Shaped by Loss. On August 31, 1997, the world was shattered by devastating news. Princess Diana had died in a car crash in Paris. William was just 15. Prince William, from royal heir to the future king. "That walk was the hardest thing I have ever done," William admitted years later. "I wanted to grieve in silence, but I knew the world was grieving with us." Her death left a mark that would never fade, but it also planted in William the seeds of empathy, resilience, and a determination to carry forward his mother's legacy of compassion. And here is something important for you, the listener. If you listen carefully to this story, your English will automatically be enhanced. Your listening power will grow stronger, you'll understand pronunciation more clearly, and you'll begin to move closer to speaking like a native American English speaker. Part 4. University Years and Meeting Catherine. In 2001, William enrolled at the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. For the first time, he tasted something close to ordinary life. He shared student flats, cooked meals with friends, and studied geography like any other undergraduate. And it was here that destiny intervened. Among his classmates was Catherine Middleton. At first, they were simply friends. Catherine was admired for her kindness, her quiet confidence, and her ability to treat William like anyone else. A turning point came during a charity fashion show in 2002. Catherine walked the runway in a daring sheer dress, and William reportedly saw her in a new light. Their friendship slowly deepened into romance, nurtured in the relatively private world of university life. "Those years gave me something rare," William later said, "the chance to live, to laugh, to love away from the spotlight." At St. Andrews, William found more than an education. He found Catherine, his future partner, his future queen. Part 5. Service and Responsibility. After university, William followed royal tradition and entered military service. He trained at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, then joined the Royal Air Force as a search and rescue pilot. The missions were often dangerous, flying into storms to save hikers or sailors in peril. Colleagues described him as humble and dedicated, never asking for special treatment. The image of William and Harry walking behind their mother's coffin, faces pale with grief, remains one of the most haunting scenes in modern history. When you are searching for a life at sea, titles mean nothing. What matters is skill, courage, and teamwork, William reflected. His years in the military gave him discipline, purpose, and credibility beyond his royal title. He was not just the future king, he was a man willing to risk his life for others. And remember this, as you listen, your English is improving too. Every sentence you absorb strengthens your ear, sharpens your pronunciation, and moves you closer to speaking with confidence like a native American English speaker. Part 6, Engagement and Marriage. By the late 2000s, the world's curiosity about William's personal life had reached fever pitch. Paparazzi hounded Catherine Middleton, nicknaming her Weighty Katie, as the tabloids speculated endlessly about when William would propose. Behind the scenes, William and Catherine were carefully navigating a relationship under pressures few couples could imagine. There were breakups and reconciliations, moments of strain and renewal, but through it all, their bond grew stronger. Finally, in October 2010, while on a trip to Kenya, William proposed. In a moment filled with symbolism, he gave Catherine the sapphire and diamond engagement ring that had belonged to his late mother, Diana. It was my way of making sure my mother was with us on this journey, William later explained. On November 16, 2010, the engagement was announced to the world. Britain rejoiced, and the press frenzy turned into celebration. On April 29, 2011, Westminster Abbey hosted one of the most watched events in history, the wedding of Prince William and Catherine Middleton. Over 2 billion viewers around the globe watched as Catherine walked down the aisle in a breathtaking Alexander McQueen gown. The moment symbolized continuity, hope, and a new era for the monarchy. From that day forward, Catherine became Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cambridge, and William stepped firmly into his role as a modern royal, a husband as well as a future king. Part 7, Fatherhood and Family Life. William and Catherine welcomed their first child, Prince George, on July 22, 2013, at St. Mary's Hospital, the same place where William himself had been born. Standing outside the hospital with Catherine and their newborn son, William repeated a scene his parents had lived 3 decades earlier. 2 years later, in 2015, Princess Charlotte was born. In 2018, their youngest, Prince Louis, completed the family of 5. When I look into my children's eyes, I see my duty differently, he admitted. It is not only about the crown, it is about protecting the world they will inherit. Despite being one of the most photographed families in the world, William and Catherine have insisted on giving their children as normal a childhood as possible. School runs, play dates, countryside holidays. These everyday moments form the foundation of their family life. And here's a reminder for you. By listening carefully to this story, your English is already improving. Your listening skills are sharpening, your pronunciation is becoming clearer, and you are training yourself to speak more like a native American English speaker. Part 8, Advocacy and Values. Beyond family life, William has carved a public role defined by compassion and service. His work focuses on causes he cares deeply about: mental health, homelessness, and environmental sustainability. In 2016, alongside Catherine and Harry, he launched the Heads Together campaign to challenge the stigma around mental health. William spoke candidly about his struggles with grief and the importance of open conversations. His willingness to be vulnerable made him relatable, breaking with centuries of royal tradition. "We all carry invisible scars," William said. "What matters is talking about them, healing them, and helping others do the same." Environmental advocacy has also defined his mission. In 2020, he launched the Earthshot Prize, a global initiative to reward solutions to climate change. Inspired by his father, King Charles III, William framed the challenge as urgent and universal. "We cannot wait for the future. We must build it now," he declared at the launch. And remember, as you listen to these words, your English is improving too. The rhythm, the pronunciation, and the natural flow of native English are entering your ear, helping you become more fluent and confident. Part 9, Becoming Prince of Wales. In September 2022, following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, William assumed the title Prince of Wales, the most senior title for the heir to the throne. Catherine became the Princess of Wales, a title that once belonged to Diana. The symbolism was undeniable. For many, it was a poignant reminder of Diana's legacy. For William, it was both an honor and a responsibility. Fatherhood transformed William. As Prince of Wales, William has taken on a greater share of public duties, representing King Charles III at home and abroad. He is now the visible face of the monarchy's future. This role has not only elevated his public profile, but also tested his ability to balance tradition with modernization. William's calm demeanor and Catherine's steady presence have reassured many that the monarchy is in safe hands. Part 10. Legacy and Future King. Though his reign has not yet begun, Prince William's legacy is already taking shape. He has modernized the monarchy by being approachable and relatable, advocated powerfully for mental health awareness, launched groundbreaking environmental initiatives, prioritized family and fatherhood alongside royal duty. He represents a vision of kingship that blends tradition with empathy, service with modern leadership. My legacy, I hope, will not be measured in crowns or ceremonies, but in the lives we touch and the world we protect, William has said. And for you, the listener, listening to this story is transforming your English. Every phrase strengthens your listening skills, every sentence improves your pronunciation, and every rhythm helps you sound more like a native American English speaker. Conclusion: a king in the making. Prince William's story is not just about palaces, ceremonies, or titles. It is the story of a boy shaped by love and loss, of a young man who found strength in service, of a husband and father who values family above all, and of a future king preparing to lead with empathy and vision. The title carries history but also duty, William reflected. I honor my mother's memory by walking my own path forward. For you, it is also a lesson. The more you listen, the more fluent you become. Each moment spent with stories like this moves you closer to mastery of English, clearer pronunciation, sharper listening, more natural speech. Prince William carries the weight of history, but he also carries the promise of renewal. His life reminds us that even under the heaviest responsibilities, humanity and compassion can shine through. This is his story. This is his legacy in motion. This is the future king.